Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts spread on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Sacred Icon mission on the next episode. This episode, we're debriefing Regret from Halo 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Master Chief Punch.
Last mission, Keyes, Chief, and Johnson emerge from slipspace to discover the existence of another Halo ring. They quickly take action in order to discover what the Prophet of Regret plans to do with the Forerunner superweapon. Chief and Johnson headed down to the ring to blow a bunch of coveys out of the mysterious ruins of the ring. This mission, Chief finds Regret and punches him to death. Yeah.
Spoilers.
But before the Prophet takedown, we discover that Regret was planning to fire the Halo in order to fulfill the Great Journey. Keyes and Johnson head to the Delta Halo's library, while Master Chief rides some water gondolas and underwater elevators on the way to eliminating one of the three Covenant Prophets. The date of the game is November 2nd, 2552. So we pick up right after that awkward ending from the previous mission, where we just kind of find that big room and see some of the honor guard, which are pretty cool. And then we actually get a little intro cutscene, pretty short, but Cortana pops on and starts to translate essentially the sermons that those holograms are saying, and she more or less says that, Regret says he's going to, I think this is the same wording here, to burn a path into the divine beyond.
Yeah, that's it. Is this the first time we knew what the Covenant was all about? In terms of this is the objective?
Yeah,
cool.
It's like I always forget this when I'm playing through Halo 2. It's like, oh yeah, why is it such a shock that the Covenant want to fire the rings? Well, and if we remember in Halo 1, it was Guilty Spark trying to get us to fire the rings. We had no idea why the Covenant was there other than they liked the object, basically. They knew it was a weapon. So, yeah, this is the first time we've actually heard that these dummies just want to fire the rings themselves for no reason. Because if there's no flood around, there's literally zero reason to actually fire rings.
Yes, exactly. But no, they just want to kill themselves and get to the other side, I guess. So
yeah,
that's kind of the definition of a cult, if you ask me. But whatever.
Totally.
They're more grandiose about it. They're not like, we're gonna drink some Kool-Aid and just die. We're gonna take everyone with us. Everyone's coming with us.
That's right. Oh yeah. So yeah, we start here in this fun room, and we get some more drones. There's lots of drones in this mission.
Yeah, they're annoying.
A lot of drones, and they come to visit us here along with a couple elites. I do like where the music in this section. I don't know if you guys noticed it all. It's kind of like that steady electronic beat and some chanting going on in the background. It's hard to describe. You just got to listen to it or experience it. Hopefully you already did if you're listening to this episode. Yeah, just the music throughout this game I really enjoyed. And I think we've touched on it earlier. Krista, did you say that the music for the anniversary game had to be remastered or redone a bit because of, I don't know, rights or something like that?
Some of it was, I'm pretty sure most of the tracks were actually remastered, but some of the tracks, like the Breaking Benjamin track and the track from the Heretic levels, where you're on that station, the follow, because those were contracted by individual bands, I'm pretty sure the rights to the music they couldn't figure out the rights exactly to the music, so they had to use different songs. But if you go back...
Music seems hard.
Yeah. But if you go back to if you switch back to the original graphics, it changes the music and sounds as well.
Yeah. Yes, that's cool. I had a couple Marines. I don't know if everybody started with Marines here or not. I would imagine everybody does at the start of this mission. But they're here hanging out with us. They're super chatty here. I don't know if you guys just kind of in this opening area. Did you guys pick up any of their comments at all?
Nah,
I didn't write anything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they are chatting along the way. Just that they have lots of fun little one-liners here. So you're essentially kind of walking through these ancient ruins again. We kind of talked about those, why they existed on the last episode. If you didn't listen to that, we kind of covered off on how humans and other populations were essentially being grown on these halos. So that's why they have these ancient-looking structures. They are really old, actually. Before then, they were reseeded, and that's deep lore that will maybe make more sense after you get further down the road if you're playing along with us in chronological order. Otherwise, we can continue through. So then there's another. There's a big room here that I thought was kind of tough. I don't know if you guys remember kind of how this area starts here, but there's lots of little snipers coming at you, especially on Legendary. Any sniper areas are tough.
There's like a sword elite too, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then you kind of poke through, so you kind of make it through here, and then you kind of see, you finally we're on the lake, or kind of outside the lake, and then you see these birds flying. Did we talk about these birds yet? I don't think we have.
They're the weird like pterodactyl looking things.
Yeah.
I think they're native to the ring.
They do have a name, and it was in the trivia, and I ignored it because I'm like, nobody cares about these bird things. Colin is asking.
Oops.
So
can you shoot them down? I tried shooting them, and I was just a terrible shot.
You can. You can kill them.
Nice. Kill those birds.
I don't know why you would want to, but yeah, it's totally possible.
Just for fun. Just for target
Just
practice.
for funsies, just to see that you can.
Yeah. So we reached this open area finally. Once you kind of get through all these snipers and whatnot, and then some hunters come and join the party.
Yay!
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool little area. It looks like it's built just for this hunter fight, obviously. Kind of has that little structure in the middle. I think it has a carbine in the middle and some grenades.
It does, yeah.
How'd you guys take down these hunters? I went the grenade route. Just hucked a bunch of grenades and took them down.
Yeah,
I had a beam rifle.
Ooh.
So it is a combination of beam sticky.
Beam sticky. That takes them down pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to get around the back to them, or just do you kind of try to...
You gotta get them around the back, but like when the Marines are with you, like they just go after the Marines.
Oh, I guess. That makes sense. Krista, what'd you do?
I just lobbed all of the sticky grenades at them. Just so many sticky grenades.
They take a lot of grenades.
They do, yeah. I think I had a shotgun as well, so I might have peppered them with that, but it was mostly sticky grenades.
Are you guys still playing on normal, too?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't bother
Yeah.
with it on Halo 2.
Yeah. Heroic feels better. We've talked about that, but it's so much more relaxing of an experience.
It gives you more
normal.
chance to look at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
right.
analyze the level a little bit more.
Take a little
These
more
guys are called quad wings. There you go.
Quad wings. Very creative.
Quad wings. Yeah.
I like it.
I don't really know what their purpose is, but it's a comment that you can shoot them and they die.
It's just for aesthetics, just to give it a little more life to the ring. So we clear out the hunters, and then we have this. So Keys pops on the comms, and she says that the Covenant is on her. Said that she can only send a pelican. She said a couple pelicans, I think. She can send some with some weapons, but she needs the help on her end because she's in the shit right now.
She comments that this is the only help she can give you.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes sense. We did the library in the last mission. It was not fun. Granted, our library was flooded, but so you get a couple Marines here too, and some weapon reinforcements, which is nice. And then we start to ride on these gondolas. We go for little boat rides.
Boo!
Boo, gondolas.
Boo,
Why don't you guys like them?
They're the
so slow.
slowest gondolas. Oh my
They
god.
kill the momentum of the mission so badly, and
Sure.
they're so slow. Oh, no, boo gondolas.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
see them off in the distance. I think right before you get to this spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what
Yeah.
are those little guys? And then once you kill the hunters, then they start creeping towards you. And yeah, they are super slow, and they're all filled with some Covenant reinforcements. They're not super hard to take out. The reinforcements is more just kind of annoying, right?
Yeah.
Also,
the only interesting thing is that you can jump across. So sometimes I like to jump across.
I do that too. I had a shotgun through the gondola part, so I was just shotgunning
that makes it fun.
everyone.
Oh, nice.
But
Where'd you find? Oh, I guess from the reinforcement ammo. That's where
yeah,
you get the shotgun?
Well, I think one of my Marines had it, and I just kept carrying it through the mission. I have the bandana skull on, so all weapons have unlimited ammo.
For real funsies.
Real fun time, yeah. It's
Yeah,
for
you're
fun.
having a great time.
I'm having an amazing time. I Would Have Been Your Daddy on. I have the bandana skull on. I'm lobbing grenades everywhere. I'm playing on normal, so I'm not dying.
Yeah, you're enjoying yourself. That's
But
great.
I think the thing about these gondolas is I cannot imagine a Forerunner just standing on these gondolas waiting to get to a temple. The Forerunners had so much crazy technology. They got everywhere they wanted pretty much instantly. So I cannot see anyone just standing on these gondolas being like, okay, gotta do maintenance on the ring, going to work today. Just
their
standing
lunch
on
pail.
these gondolas. It's like public transportation of the Forerunner world. It's like, no.
Sucks.
Where's the
probably-
Ferraris? I want to
probably
take
for
my
hauling
Ferrari
stuff.
gondola.
Yeah, they're probably for hauling stuff. Like dead
Oh yeah, you
quad
imagine there's
wings.
some kind of quad wing food.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna feed all the quad wings with these gondolas. Amazing.
So the buttons at the back, hit that button and start moving on. Then you get some drones that show up just to be annoying. Those drones are annoying.
There are also some banshees that show up.
That's the later one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because you have a rocket launcher at the second one.
Yeah. That Cortana does pop on here, and she posits. She says the lake couldn't have been created by volcanic activity, so it must have been built for some other purpose, or by some other means. Do we ever find out what this thing's built for?
We
This
don't
little area?
actually know a lot about Delta Halo. Like, I was looking at the wiki, and the wiki's basically like, it's a ring in the it's a ring. It's a super weapon in the array.
It's the second one that you find.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's basically what the wiki is.
Because it's on Halo 2. Alright, so we keep going. Another gondola pulls up with some Covenants, and you just kind of kill them. Nothing really special. I think there's a red elite in there. Perhaps some grunts. Nothing too tough. Then you can continue. I mean, it's kind of cool to see like the other one pulling up. You're like, what's going on here? What's happening? Why is there another one coming? Oh, it's just for some more enemies.
And if you have a sniper, you can take pot shots as you're approaching.
Yeah, that's true. You can clear out most of it pretty quickly. Then you continue on. Your gondola continues to the next structure. There's kind of some turrets on top and some snipers on top. You can take them out or just ignore them and kind of rush through the door. This is the one where the skull is. So there's a big rock, or it's like a big, I don't know, like a big stone or something like that. Building stone that you can hop on top of, and so you can actually hop around this entire building, which is what you need to do in order to get the skull. The skull is the assassin's skull, and I think it's only, we already talked about this, but it's only accessible on Legendary. But in order to, if you get it, it means all enemies are permanently camouflaged.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, that's one I never use.
The lasso run on this game must be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. No thank you.
Fuck that. All enemies are camoed the whole game
Yeah.
on Legendary. Oh, that's disgusting. I hate that.
I hate my
Lassos
life.
suck.
Take
Well, I
forever.
mean, the scarab gun's one of the skulls, right?
That's true.
I think I actually don't think it counts for the lasso. I think it's a 0 times, kind of like bandana.
Oh,
There's a weird distinction between like the fun skulls and the we're going to make the game impossible skulls.
absolutely. All right, so then we continue on. There's a room full of jackals and drones, which in my mind is probably just the most annoying combo of enemies.
Yeah.
Because you got the drones flying around, you got the jackals with their shields and their snipes.
You can't stay scoped because of the drones keep shooting you. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, that's right, because they take you out of your scope. Yeah, super annoying combo. Not super difficult, but more just annoying. Like, ugh, come on, just die. Because they don't take you down super easily, especially on normal. So then Cortana pops on. She says that we must go down and pass through a submerged structure. So this part of the area, it's kind of like a, I don't know how you would describe this room, but it's just weird.
Elevator room.
It's not like a regular room. It's got like a little window. It's almost like it's like kind of the guts of a bigger building. It's like where you would go, like if you climbed up into the roof of a building, maybe it would kind of. That's what this room would look like, maybe.
It's got that kind of vibe. Yeah, it's got that attic vibe.
Yeah, but there is an elevator in there that you can go down into. That's where you're supposed to go. So you can actually go up. I don't know if you guys went all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a fuel rod up there.
Oh, is that what's up there? I didn't get the fuel rod.
Yeah,
I saw the pelican drop off something. Pelican shows up. Yeah, there's like you pop your head out, and then another pelican comes by and drops something off. I went back down to try to find it, but I couldn't find what it was.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah,
or knew that happened. That's cool.
So there's a railgun up there. Is that the first railgun that we've encountered?
Sorry, fuel rod.
Oh, fuel rod. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it might be. I'd have to really... No, they're in the Arbiter missions as well. These are fuel rod guns.
That's right. So you can use them there. So we go down, decide to go down in the elevator. And we float through some ruins, which is super weird.
It's a weird, like, Bioshocky part.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, totally.
I get, like, really strong Bioshock vibes, and it feels really weird in my Halo game.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love this sequence for just everything that Cortana tells you.
Yes.
You kind of start to piece things together through, like, she's intercepting the Covenant BattleNet and stuff and learning loads. I love that. I love when she does that and starts to explain what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely an opportunity for them to drop some more lore on you. So what does she say? She says that Regret issues an apology?
Yeah, she's intercepting the prophets talking to each other. And it's obviously Truth and Mercy giving out to him, being like very angry of like, I can't remember the exact wording, but you jumped the gun, you jeopardized our plans, you attacked the humans before their time or something, because obviously he was vying for power when he went to Earth with such a small force, where the Covenant weren't ready, and then he jumped to Delta Halo, and thus so doing brought humans to Delta Halo. So everything's kind of gone awry for them.
Yeah, he effed up big time.
It's cool. It was just cool to see that the politics and the dynamics come to play here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he says, it kind of in this dialogue from Cortana, she says that Regret, his like excuse, is that the presence of humans was not foretold, and we've kind of talked about that already, where he just didn't know that there were going to be humans on Earth. Who knew?
Well, I mean, it was alluded to a lot during the game, but this is the first time where they've actually like just come out and said it.
That's true. Yeah, that's like we've learned about this piece of information, I guess, through the terminals. But yeah, they've never our UNSC team has never kind of figured that out. The people that we're playing with, right? But the player, us, we've kind of made that drawn that conclusion. All right, so then we kind of pop up on the other end. There's a carbine under the stairs, so grab that if you didn't already. Love that carbine. And then we have this long room with some grunts down in there.
Yeah.
And you just kind of take them out with that carbine and move on. Nothing super special. But the rooms in this area do look cool. They look very Forerunner-y. I do like the aesthetic of this area. But yeah, we got this long room with the grunts. And then we enter the giant room, this huge room with a huge hologram of the Prophet of Regret. Just a monster one. There's drones in here. There's sniper jackals. There's honor guard.
Yep.
And then there's hunters. So like this thing is huge, and they're all over the place. You might even be able to just run through this room. I don't know if it'd take everybody out or not.
I've never tried.
You can? I've never tried, yeah. I mean, there's hunters and everything, and there's honor guards, like you said. It's pretty... On Legendary, like, there's snipers everywhere. It's a tough room.
Yeah, it's a tough room. With the drones flying around, yeah. It makes it tough. The terminal's up here, too, kind of on that second floor area. The terminal, we'll talk about that towards the end. I missed it. I just wasn't... I don't know. I just was cruising. So, you guys pick it up?
Yes.
You guys pick them all up, right?
I do.
So you're going to have to tell me what this terminal is all about. I'm excited to learn more about, what is it, Arbiter stuff?
Yeah, it's more Arbiter.
More Arbiter.
Brr.
We learned so much about the Arbiter in this game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they were really pushing Arbiter real hard in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because people didn't
Anniversary.
like the Arbiter when this game first came out.
True, but the terminals weren't there either. And I feel like they were going back, adding these terminals in, leading up to Halo 5. Probably to build up, because it's got, like we said at the start, those lock videos, that lock and Arbiter interactions that kind of sandwich this game. So I feel like it's all just been about building up the Arbiter as a character going into Halo 5.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Arbiter focused. All right, so we make it through this room, which is a big, tough room, and then we have another long room, kind of similar to the one that we just saw the grunts in. It's flooded. It's got some water in it, and then we have some camoed elites and some camoed grunts too, which I don't think we've seen camoed grunts yet.
Yeah, I found that strange.
Not unless they were in Halo Reach. But I can't
might have been.
remember camo grunts. I'm just thinking that could the only place up to now we could have seen them.
I don't think
But
there
yeah,
are any
camo
camoed
grunts.
grunts in Reach.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not remembering that either. But yeah, it's kind of weird to see the camo grunts. But whatever. You know, they must have been super special grunts. Need that camo.
They're
then you shoot
high-ranking
'em in the head.
grunts. Yeah.
That's right.
And they
You shoot 'em in the
instantly
face.
die.
So then we get into another water elevator. All right, let's do it.
Yay, water elevator.
More water elevators. I didn't really pay too much attention to. I mean, there's ruins. There's water. I think there's some fish and stuff down there.
It's nice looking. Like, if you go back to the original graphics, it was just blackness. So
Yeah.
they added quite a bit.
Yeah, it definitely looks good. I think there's another lore drop here. Covenant says truth and mercy just are not impressed by Regret's actions, essentially. So it's just kind of talking about the infighting that's going on here. We finally surface on the other end, and then it's time to slice up some honor guard. I think I must have had a sword here because I must have had a sword at this point.
I love doing that
Well,
too.
in the
trying to stealth kill these honor.
in the camo room, there was a camoed elite with the sword at the very end.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
There was also another honor guard that charged you with a sword in the big room. So you could have had it from then. Yeah, there was multiple places you could have got a sword.
There are a lot of swords in this mission.
I love it.
Yeah, it's good. And I feel like they have a lot of power, or what do you call them? Just energy, I guess.
Charge.
Yeah, charge. So I could use these for quite a long time. Slice up quite a bit of enemies, which is nice. I think they dial that in different games, in other games, where I feel like it doesn't last as long in other games, but in this one you can use it for quite a while.
Yeah, they were probably balancing the charge, and I think it also obviously changes on higher difficulties, with the higher shield rates of the various enemies you're fighting and stuff.
Yeah, so these honor guards don't seem to really. You can sneak up behind the first one.
Yeah, you can stealth the first, and there's a bunch of grunts asleep. If you manage to stealth him, you can stealth all of them too.
Yeah. So you can kind of sneak around a smidge here, and then you surface back up onto the Halo area. So there's some. You're kind of in
Usually
this
get
little,
ambushed.
Yeah, you do get ambushed. It's kind of this little hole area that you pop out of, but then all sorts of enemies in this area. So I would imagine. I'm not remembering this area on Legendary, but this would probably be a tough spot right here.
I remember. I have such a vivid memory of this area on Legendary. I was stuck inside the room for ages.
Really?
Trying to get out. I think I had no ammo. I had like a BR that was empty or something, and a sword, and I was just trying to grab plasma pistols and take pot shots. It was awful.
It was gross. Because the thing about the AI is they don't necessarily charge you all the time. They'll just hang out up top.
Yeah, they'll just pepper you with various weapons, needles, carbines, and plasma bolts. It's just a combination of awfulness when you're on Legendary with no ammo.
I also
feel like I'd
found
rather-
with some of the
Go ahead.
AI is they have that trope that if you kind of get out of their area, they'll just turn around and go back.
Right. Like forget you were there.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
What?
But I'd rather have them charge you so that you could just do the little dance with them.
Do a little dance.
Yeah.
Make
just
a
kind of
little
circle
love.
around, dance, and then take them out. Versus
Get down
shooting them
time.
from afar is much more difficult. Especially when you have just a plasma rifle or plasma pistol.
Cool.
Yeah, so this area, you pop out of there, you finally clear that spot there, and then there's another gondola.
Oh,
Boo.
All
oh,
right.
I'm so excited to ride the gondola to the temple again. Why did they just have a gondola going from the first building straight to the temple? I don't understand.
That was the express gondola. We missed the express.
Yeah, we didn't pay for that.
It's the most like backwards way to get to a freaking temple. It's like 2 gondolas, 2 underwater elevator rides.
Yeah,
It's like, oh
I
my
did
God.
appreciate the weapon drop though.
Yes.
Like, yes, give me more power weapons, give me more ammo.
Yeah.
I appreciated that a lot. I like that. And those missions, they're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get some rocket launchers, right?
And a
You get some
sniper.
snipers and rockets. So I tried to load up my Marines if they're still alive, give them all those power weapons.
Keys checks in here and says that there's a barrier outside of the library, so she's having a tough time on her end. We'll check back with her later.
It's also pretty cool. You can, if you look, you can see the sentinel wall in the distance, so you know that you're actually pretty close to the library. You're not actually that far away. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
didn't even
notice
look for that, yeah.
Dang, I gotta go back and check that out. Nice. All these trivia drops.
That's what I'm here for.
So then we have our rocket launcher and our snipers and all our superpower weapons. If you have some Marines with you, give them that stuff. The next, so you hop on the gondola, you activate it, and then the next gondola that shows up, coming the other direction, has some jetpack elites, and we haven't seen those since like the first mission, since Cairo Station.
That's true. These guys are pretty tough on Legendary because they're
They are.
dual wielding. And
Yes.
they just spam you.
Yeah, they're very mobile.
That and the Banshees are here, and unlike other Banshees, you can't actually drive them. It's possible to kill the pilot and miraculously have the Banshee drop on the gondola, but you still can't get in. They're just
really?
totally hard coded to not let you get in them yet.
Oh dang. Yeah, Banshee at the very beginning of this mission would be great. You can just fly it all the way
straight
over.
there.
Yeah, totally. Which is probably why they don't let you do it.
That's true.
I'll save like 20 minutes.
Dang it, Bungie. Alright, so we're there. Now we finally, our gondola gets to the other end. We trigger a cutscene. And it's this is a cool little cutscene right here, because you look up at the sky and you see like all of the Covenant show up.
That's really cool, and I'm glad you said that because the cutscene shows you them all showing up. But what I've never actually done is look up after the cutscene,
Oh,
They're
they're
there.
all going like.
and they're all moving and coming in. It actually looks way more impressive when you're in gameplay, looking up in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
seeing all these ships in
hundreds,
space
yeah.
and high giant. Yeah, it's so cool.
Well,
Yeah,
and
High
also
Charity's up
something
there.
else. Yeah. So, yeah, big ball of something up there. We haven't
Mm-hmm.
actually seen High Charity yet from the outside.
We saw in the first cutscene an intro to the
Yeah,
game.
the very first
Oh.
cutscene.
Yeah,
Okay.
But you didn't really kind of know what it was. I mean, it said it was High Charity, but yeah, just a weird looking thing.
And that is a
High Charity.
big thing
Should we
to
talk about
move.
High Charity here? I mean, we could maybe give
Sure.
a little preview. We've talked about it a little bit, but High Charity, there's a big old like pointy thing on the top of it. Turns out that's a Forerunner ship, and then everything below it is like part of the
their planet.
Sanshayum planet?
Yeah, their homeworld had like a civil war where there was a group that wanted to activate the Forerunner equipment and use them.
specifically the
You had a group-
Dreadnought, which is that big ship.
Yeah, the big ship. And the other group, which are pretty much like the Sangheli, that just worshipped the Forerunner tech but didn't want to use it. So they fought their way on, had a civil war, and activated the ship. And in trying to take off, but as they didn't do it correctly, took half their planet. Well, not half, but took a massive chunk of their own planet to space with them.
That's amazing.
And, yeah, the imagery is crazy, and like there's loads of stuff in the Broken Circle book, which I won't get into too deep, which talks about like the after effects of that, and
Mhm.
the kind of toll that takes on segregating these two races, where obviously they weren't split in half, and the Sanshayum that made it into space are like very different than the Sanshayum that left behind on the planet and stuff like that. And it's fascinating when you go into how their genetic diversity kind of works or doesn't work as you might expect. But it was pretty cool.
Mhm. So that
So then they're
that
Built up
Dreadnought's
the Covenant all around that.
That dreadnought was like staked to the ground, like.
I guess it was just buried, and maybe
Yeah.
they just did, and they just said, "Oh, maybe they expected it was a smaller ship or something." I don't know. They just took off. I'm sure. I think it describes it, but it sounds pretty cool in Broken Circle.
So that's
Yeah.
why High Charity looks so weird.
Yes, because it's part of a planet and a ship.
It's a cool concept. I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. It does. It's cool, very unique, which is a lot of Halo. We talked about that. That's why Halo's cool, because it's sci-fi, but it's got some unique twists, some cool things. So we see the cutscene. We see everybody show up, and from their perspective, they're pissed at Regret because Regret jumped the gun, and then I think everyone else in the Covenant is just kind of like, oh, you should have told us that there was another Halo. So now everybody's showing up to this second Halo here to join Regret, but we're gonna go punch him in the neck first. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Let's go
Boss
punch
fight.
him. So this room then leads up into the big boss fight room. We have some elites kind of pop out of the bottom.
A lot of elites.
And there's so many elites in this area. Some elites pop out of the bottom here once you kind of get into that little area with the ramp that goes up into the large room. And then some honor guard come out running at you. This is a tough area. You know, normal it's fine, but this is a tough room on heroic or legendary. Very brutal.
Well, those honor
Lots of-
guards are just so difficult.
Yeah.
They have so much health, and their shields are so strong.
But is it one sticky grenade that'll take them out though, or do you need to take my shield first?
It's a good question. It's been very long. It's been a long time since I played Halo 2 on Legendary, so I don't think one plasma will take them down.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sticky.
I think you need to take down their shield first, I believe. But a normal is a sticky grenade. And
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, or you got a rocket. You just blow them straight up.
Mm-hmm.
You just run. So, can we talk about the amazing skull?
Yes. The best skull ever
Colin,
that is specific
skull-
to this mission only.
Yeah, the skull that they made, that activating it only works on this mission and only does one thing and one thing only. Which makes it when you jump onto... You have to board the Prophet and punch him.
Okay.
And if you punch him, it plays a guitar solo. So the more you punch him, you end up playing him like a guitar.
What?
Yeah.
It's so
It's
funny.
called it's called like punch him up to 11 or turn it up to 11. I can't remember the name of the
I'll
skull,
look it up
but
real
it's
quick.
so yeah. And that's all that skull does. It just makes like guitar sounds as you beat him up.
So
It's like
do you
turning
find
guitar.
the skull in this mission?
No, you just activate it from the main menu.
I see. Okay.
It's amazing.
That's good.
It's called Prophet Birthday Party.
Prophet birthday party. And what's the description? I thought it had something up to 11, like it was referencing Spider-Man.
Let's see. It says the effects. It doesn't have the actual
description. in
yeah
the game.
description. I'll see if I can find it.
That's okay.
Briefing.
Well, why don't you take us through this boss fight then, David, while she's checking that out quick?
Yeah,
it's
so,
a weird
like we
thing to actually be like we've met these prophets at the very beginning of the game. You didn't really know they existed in CE. Didn't really know they existed in Reach. I mean, they didn't really talk about them. I don't think at all.
No, they weren't really referencing.
They show up in 2, and you see the 2. You know, we met the 2 at the very beginning. Well, there's 3 there. There's the one hologram one. We figure out who he is. Then all of a sudden, we're gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So it's pretty damn cool. Like I mentioned in the previous mission, the whole kind of point of like Halo 1 and kind of like Reach, or even Halo Reach, the original mission of the Spartans at the start of that game was to initiate Operation Red Flag, which was to sneak into Covenant space and grab a Prophet so that you could use him to barter a peace treaty. And so now at the very end, this is actually coming to a head, where instead of, because he's trying to light the ring, you've decided no point in keeping him, we gotta kill him, especially because the Covenant all the Covenant has shown up. You're like, no, gotta kill and run.
Yeah.
So you're going through this room, and this is a boss fight. Like we said, Halo 2 was the first time they introduced this. With the Arbiter, you had a boss fight. Now it's Master Chief, you got a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got its own kind of unique mechanics. Obviously, a room full of bad guys, which I think are infinite. I think they're infinite spawns.
It feels like they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say they are. So the room is kind of like weirdly spaced, but there's a bit of cover on both sides, but none in the middle. So you can kind of go high or low and run around. And on the higher difficulties, the Prophet is shielded. So you have to take out his shield and run up and punch him, and you board him like a vehicle.
You could take him down. You could take the shield down just by shooting it, right? Or doing
pretty much
a plasma
just by
pistol.
shooting it. Yeah, pretty much by shooting it or grenading him and stuff like that. And then you run up and you board him like a vehicle and you punch the living crap out of him.
Right.
And on normal,
it never tells
easy,
you how to do that though, right? It's like you kind of have to
know.
figure that out.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Cortana might just say run up and get him or something. I think her shields are down, and so you run up and the prompt comes up. I want to say it was a surprise to me the very first time, but I can remember it thinking like, this is so weird. And jumping up onto his throne while it hovers, and you're just mashing B. And on normal and easy, you can get in, you can kill him pretty quickly. But on other modes, you go through kind of waves where like his shield reactivates and pushes you off the chair, and you have to go through again the phase of fighting a bunch of enemies, kind of dodging all the attacks and knocking his shield down again, and just kind of rinse and repeat. Unless you're on normal, and you can just beat the living crap out of him, and then he dies.
It's just so funny, just getting on that chair and just punching him mercilessly in the face.
Well, and hearing him scream in agony, like, yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous, especially considering like how many hits he takes. That you're like Spartan in your Milner armor, and he's a weak old man, and you're just punching the crap out of him. He must have been it. There must have been nothing left, like pulp, essentially, is what should have been left to this creature.
Just a bloody pulp.
Yeah. I would say one cool little tidbit, which I never noticed before, so when I looked up in Halopedia and stuff, said when the Prophet of Regret is killed, a fully charged plasma pistol drops out behind him. This is actually referenced in Halo Contact Harvest, where Regret secretly brought the same weapon to a meeting with the philologist. And in Halo Call Protocol, he was rumored to have the same weapon with him to try and kill any acolytes who questioned him. So I thought that was cool. That they actually tied that into those books I mentioned it. That he carries his little plasma pistol with him in his chair.
Nice.
And I'm trying to remember, does he fire anything at you? Is there any kind of beam that comes out of his chair?
Yeah, he has like a chair beam.
Yeah.
He's got chair lasers.
Yeah, I thought so.
That chair's
they're kind of like the
ridiculous.
Sentinel
It's so good.
beams.
Yeah.
They're dual. Two of them. I killed him really easily. Like, so I hopped on, punched him in the neck 4 or 5 times, however many. He shoves you off. I then just threw a plasma grenade at him. It must have hit him, and it just killed him.
Oh yeah, cool.
Like, it was the easiest boss fight ever.
A lot of the Halo 2 boss fights are easy when you're not playing on Legendary. So for me on normal, I literally just ignored all the enemies, went straight for him.
Yeah,
and
I ran
punched
it.
him. Yeah.
Pretty much. But it's cool because when I did that, all the enemies stopped attacking me and just stood around. I was like, oh, cool.
Well, they're not going to fire on the Prophet.
That's right.
Well, no, as in like after I'd killed them.
Oh, yeah.
They all just went into their AI rest mode and just kind of walked around. But that was just like in the couple of seconds before the end cutscene triggers. So I guess they're just programmed to not kill you so that like the cutscene can trigger so you can't die after finishing the mission or something. In that kind of way. But it was cool.
That is cool. Krista, do you want to take us through this end cutscene? Then we're done.
Sure. So Cortana's like, oh shit, there's a capital ship coming right for us now that the Prophet's dead. And it's firing its plasma beam. And Chief's like, I guess we have to leave then.
Yeah.
Run. It is just, with these blur graphics, it is just so cool to see a little bit ahead of the temple, you see the plasma beam come down, and you can kind of see the air getting electrified and misty from the water evaporating so rapidly. And it's just,
I liked seeing Chief's armor in their cutscenes, like especially in Halo 2. I feel like his armor feels tight, like closer to his body, whereas in the CE, it felt a lot more bulky.
Yeah.
So I really like their
he was a real
interpretation
man.
of Chief.
Well,
bit of bulk.
Well, Mjolnir's supposed to be like a second skin. It's not supposed to be like a big, heavy armor. So they did, and just the way it moves really, really well with these blur cutscenes.
Yeah.
But you get to see Chief outrun a plasma beam. So it's him running from a giant beam of plasma. And like I said, I really like seeing like the air getting like super heated and stuff as it's coming closer to him. And so Chief gets to the end of the temple and just, my heart will go on, jumps straight into the water. And of course he's wearing 2 tons of armor, so he sinks. And then some strange occurrence happens. A strange tentacle comes and grabs him by the waist and just says, "This is not your grave, but you are welcome in it." Fade to black.
So eerie and so cool. I remember when I first saw this, I had no idea what this was. Like, no idea, no inkling that it was flood or anything. It was just, what the fuck was that?
And then of course they leave you on that because you go straight a little preview for the next episode, but you go to the Arbiter's story. You switch back to the Arbiter, so you're just like, what has happened to Chief?
What happened to him?
Oh, some horrible things. I've seen this on the internet.
I like the line too. I mean, that's one of those lines you can think about. This is not your grave, but you are welcome in it.
This
it's one of those that you're gonna have to think about a
character in
couple
Halo has some of the best lines, and we'll talk about this character once we finally meet him. But
we'll talk a lot.
Oh, we're gonna be talking a lot about him, but he has some of the coolest lines, and we're gonna be gushing over literally everything he says. But
yeah.
As a preview to what's about to happen, it is so cool. It is just so cool. Like,
I also love that, like, the moment you kill the Prophet of Regret, the Covenant's immediate reaction is, we're lasering you from space.
Right.
This. That's just their extreme of how much of a reputation Chief has. That, like, the second he's dead, they realize there's no point in keeping him alive. No matter that the rest of their forces are still probably here.
That's a good point.
They're just like, nope, laser that guy from space.
Well, and at the same time, like, the forces that were still there were supposed to be protecting the Prophets, so they probably would have been executed for high treason anyway.
Good point.
So they're getting a bunch of stuff done at once. I mean, once the one thing keeping them from glassing that place is gone, they just start glassing.
Yeah.
So it's super cool though. I love the end of this mission. It's one of my favorite moments in this game. Just outrunning the plasma beam and killing Regret and tentacles.
Yeah, it's a good cliffhanger.
It is. It's so good.
Super good.
This is why I love this game so much.
All right, let's do some. Why don't we do terminal first? Community stuff that wasn't a ton, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay. So, like we said earlier, this is located right behind that giant Regret hologram. And it is... We go back to Sessa Rafume and 343 Guilty Spark. And Sessa is talking about, the Prophets and, talking about their religion and how the Prophets basically reformed Sangheili's way of life completely. They went from a race that had agriculture, that had, all these different things, like science. They were very big on science because they were a spacefaring species. And they changed them into just military. They just completely militarized the entire Sangheili species and then said, okay, well, we'll take care of everything else. You'll have all the food you need, you'll have all the science and medical technology you need. Just focus on raising as many warriors as physically possible. And then, of course, they just talked about, we were tasked to not only be militaristic, but to find more holy relics that would lead us to the Great Journey, that would lead us to Transcendence. And, of course, Guilty Spark's like, you are all a bunch of idiots. Like, through this whole thing, he's just like, you guys are so stupid. You guys are just dumb. And so then they talk, and then Rafume says we gave up all our traditions, and then Guilty Spark comes back with, well, you still have the Arbiter. And Rafume's like, well, the Arbiter used to be a symbol of power, a leader among us, and then an Arbiter committed heresy. And an example was made out of him. He challenged one of the words of the Prophets, and there was a huge fight. He lost, and then that's when the Arbiter actually became a badge of shame for, quote, the most spectacularly failed warriors would become the Arbiter. And so the Arbiter that committed this heresy is actually a direct reference to... there's like an anime DVD thing collection called Halo Legends, and one of the stories on it is called The Duel, which is actually the story of this Arbiter and how he becomes a heretic and how he fights off a bunch of Covenant. And, of course, probably one of the most iconic things is a giant hunter, like the size of a skyscraper hunter.
And like rates and all kinds of shit, and this dude just has a sword.
He dual wields swords at one point.
Dual wield sword. It's amazing. It's such a cool.
And it also personifies the Saint-Healy as very samurai-like as well.
Oh, completely. Very Japanese.
It's really interesting. It's worth a watch. The animation style is kind of weird. It's kind of like a watercolor animation style, but it is worth a watch if you ever find Halo Legends on DVD, or if you have Netflix. I believe Halo Legends is still on Netflix.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
So you can watch all of Halo Legends on there. There is some great stuff in Halo Legends. It has kind of a overview of the universe. Like, if Halo had a video that was like Halo in 10 minutes, that's what it is. So that's what they're talking about. I like this direct reference to that story because it's cool to watch this and then remember, hey, I actually saw that unfold. We got to actually see that.
I love that. I love that they tied something from Legends into the game and even rendered the kind of end scene. So in the
you see the two
terminal,
warriors fall in by each other.
Yeah, it's cool.
Which is one of the end frames from Halo Legends. Just as a side note, some of the Halo Legends stories are completely not canon at all. And they make absolutely zero sense, but they're also just kind of interesting stories from the Halo universe. But the duel specifically is completely canon, as shown here. Not sure exactly how canon. It might not be as canon, but the story is at least canon.
Yeah, the skyscraper hunter probably isn't. It might just be a large hunter.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, you know, he talks about that. 343 wants to learn more about the Arbiters, and then the scene ends. So it's basically more Arbiter stuff, just talking about how the Arbiter became a glorious leader to a mark of shame. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's that.
Very cool.
Really cool stuff, cool imagery. Love these.
Thank you, Krista. David, let's just to cover off on a couple community thoughts, and then we will close the show.
Yeah, let's close up the show. Now, why did Facebook do that? Stupid.
Did it refresh?
Yes. And I had it ready and everything.
Da 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 da.
Just a tap dance for you. Gave you so many warnings.
We're calling back to our original opening, way back when we sang the Halo theme.
It was beautiful.
Good times.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's good though. It's a little crazy.
Here we go. So, Colin Perkins, you may know him, has posted in the Facebook group saying, "Mission debrief. Regret. What's the defining gameplay element of this mission?" So Ian Francis, another guy you may know, either says, "How amazing the underwater parts look in Anniversary," or "Punching that goat-faced prophet regret back to your Quam, the planet of prophets." And also mentioned to keep one marine alive all the way through. That's impressive. Dude saved my life. God damn, Ian, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
James Skelton says, "I couldn't believe how dark the underwater parts were in the original until it flipped back between the two." Yeah, the old school graphics is real bad underwater. It's real blurry.
It's basically a void of nothing.
Yeah, there's no draw distance whatsoever. Ian says, "No, you can't tell the difference anything there. I think also the next couple of missions you go figure it out." Blah, 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 blah. Yep, nothing to say really there. Good stuff, Ian. We can switch over to the Discord because we do use Discordy stuff now. Thanks, Colin. So in Discord we have same question, and Elson94 says the first encounter with the gondolas, if I'm correct, is the most iconic. It is iconic, I would agree. It still sucks, but yeah, you remember it.
It's iconic in a bad way.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten there yet, but they bring them back in another game, and I was like, God damn it. Anyway, I read the text. This is Blue Hippo. Good name. I love how the control room for 05 is underwater. Cortana mentions that 04's environment was all wonky. I wonder if it made me wonder if 04 was supposed to be underwater too, which is very interesting. Because didn't we say it was purpose built? So maybe it wasn't supposed to be underwater.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. A lot of people are saying that Matt's profit pounding. I think everyone kind of agrees it's pretty iconic. The concept in Halo 2 are the worst. Goalie Sniper, I like this guy. He said, punching the Prophet is always a good time, but that underwater sequence, Halo never had a shortage of jaw-dropping moments. That's just another one to add to the list. I agree. And well said, guys. It's a good comment. Because they agree with me. Which makes them correct.
100% correct opinions.
For some reason, I struggle with this, the question on this community question, because the easy answer is just to talk about, punching Prophet or Regret.
Punching Regret.
But there was a lot more to this mission than that. I felt like, I said at the top of the show, there's a lot of drones here, and I almost was like, can we talk about the drones maybe in this little part? I mean, they're just annoying in general. But I did, at one point, I did just kind of, stared at one of them that I had killed earlier. Because they fly around so much and they're usually in this chaotic area that you just kind of shoot them and then move on. But there are a couple parts in this mission where you can take them down and then just kind of look at their dead bodies and how cool they look. They're these insect type enemies, but they're really well done. They did a good job creating their look, even though they suck.
Yeah, well, they're a good standout race in terms of an aliens. Let's not just have human-like aliens with walk-on legs, same appendages, one head. It's cool to have that bit of variation.
Absolutely. Krista, anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I like the underwater parts just because it's Bioshocky. And also, I like how the Prophet of Regret's chair just basically weighs like a metric fuck ton once you kill him. Just like a big clonk. It's really good. I love the clonk. So #clonk.
I like it. All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of Regret from Halo 2. On the next episode, we'll be covering Sacred Icon from Halo 2. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. Until next time, evolved.
Evolved.
Evolved.